the Valley of Spokane. We are now going to go over the Unit 5 geometry test. Some of you need to retake this if you scored less than 80%. So you have Thursday morning, lunch, after school, Friday morning, lunch to retake your geometry Unit 5 test. You may bring it up to 100, or no, you may bring it up to 80% maximum. Okay, so let's do this. No one should be talking, lots of people paying attention. So, when I look at, first of all, I look at the directions, and I did tell you specifically that to take off none of these because everyone's going to be one of those above. Okay, and that was it. And then this was irrelevant, so let's go for this. So, first of all, angle 1 is this angle here, and it's asking me what is the relationship between angles 1 and 8? They are corresponding. What is the relationship between 1 and 6? Well, this is on the exterior, this is on the interior. But I do know that in every diagram like this, every angle is either congruent or supplementary. We said that a lot. We talked about that a lot. Everything is either congruent or supplementary. Nothing else. When two parallel lines are cut by a transversal. So they either have to be supplementary or congruent. Everybody got that? So everything is supplementary or congruent.
Yeah.
That means congruent. Okay? So how about 1 and 6? Well, that's obtuse, so they must be supplementary. And they don't have a special relationship. What about 3 and 7? Those are vertical. What about 2 and 3? That's on the exterior, that's on the exterior, and it's every other one on the exterior. Every other one. So 2 and 3 are alternate exterior angles. What about 4 and 3? 4 and 3 are both on the exterior, but exterior angles isn't a choice, is it? But they must be supplementary then, because this is acute and that's obtuse. Okay? And we could prove that many other ways as well. And then finally, 5 and 7 are obviously supplementary. They make a straight line. Okay? So that's your first 6 points. We spent a lot of time doing those, so I hope you didn't miss any of those. I hope if you missed any, you wrote in red pen what you missed so you know what to study. All right, so if angle 1 is 48, that's this one right here, right? Okay, list all other angles that are 48. 5 is 48 because it's vertical. 6 is corresponding to that, so, or excuse me, 4 is corresponding to that, so that is, so it's 5, 4, and then 2 is, it's actually 5, 4, and 8 because these are corresponding. Okay, and what is the other degree measure in the diagram? And that is 132 degrees because they're supplementary, right? So 180 minus 48 is 132. So you just had to remember that. And what all other angles are 132 degrees? Well, what are all the obtuse angles? 3, 7, 6, 2. Okay, so those were hopefully supposed to be easy points. Actually, a lot of you did very well on the angle, the sum of angles and the interior angle rule. So we did this little activity in our toolkit, right? And we made that table and we discovered that the number of triangles is always 2 fewer than the number of sides. So if I have an 8-sided octagon, 8 minus 2 is 6. So that's just the formula. Remember, n minus 2 times 180. So if I take the number of sides, it's 8 minus 2, that's where I get the 6. Number 3, if I want to find the sum, I'm going to use that formula. So I'm going to go use this formula down here, 19 minus 2, because it says the 19 is on a 19-sided figure. And so I'm going to go 17 times 180, and I get what? What was the right answer? B. Okay. The wrong answer was 3780, so if you didn't subtract 2, that's what you got. So if you got C, that's the mistake you made. You have to use the formula. We put that formula in our notes. If for some reason it didn't make it in your toolkit, add it now. We're still finding the sum on 4, so it's exactly the same. It's an octagon, which is 8 sides. Someone came up and said, "Does octagon mean 8?" And I said, "How many legs does an octopus have?" And they said 8. And I said, "Okay, you answered the question." Okay, so oct prefix means 8. Okay, so the octagon where they fight for UFC, right? It's an actual octagon.
It is?
What do you think they call it, an octagon? Okay, glad we had this chat. So 6 times 180 is 1080. That's A. Now it says find the measure of one angle.
135.
So if it adds up to be 1080, how much is one of them? Well, I take the sum and divide by the number of sides, which is 135 degrees. Most of you got that one right. Good job. Unless you didn't read it closely. And then the last one, to find one interior angle here, we're going to go n minus 2 times 180 divided by n. And you get what? What's the answer on that one? C. You get 164.3. Okay? Page 1, done. Hopefully, if you made mistakes, you just learned from them. Okay. Very similar problem to what we had on the practice test here. What are these? I thought this was almost too easy, because that's a square and we know that's 90 degrees. That's a square and we know that's 90 degrees. Okay? Well, since they're regular polygons, that's an equilateral triangle, so I know that has to be 60 degrees. Okay? I could just go, so far we have 180 plus 60 is 240. If I already have 240 degrees and I know altogether that's a circle of 360, the sum of those angles is 360, then I know that that last angle must be 360 minus what I already have, or 120. I could also recognize that this is a hexagon, which is a six-sided figure, and I can find one angle of a hexagon also. So that's why this is 120. Okay, like this problem, you'll see one just like it on the S-back. I'm almost positive. So what I said was a good strategy was to draw these out separately so you're not confused by the overlapping of the triangles. So if this one is B, and that's 90 degrees, it's marked with a square, and this one is x plus 20, right? Because this whole thing is x and 20, right? There, and this is 30. So I know that every triangle sum is 180, right? So 90 plus 30 is 120, plus 20 plus x, because this is 20 plus x, has to be 180. So 140 plus x is 180. So how much does x have to be in order for that to be a triangle? 40. Okay? So then I go, oh, if this is 40, then I get 60, plus 30 is 90, plus 90 is 180. Okay? And then I go, well, what about this guy right here? 90, 20, and 30 plus y. So 90 plus 20 plus 30 plus y is 180, because I know that all makes a triangle. And I get 140 plus y equals 180, and that one also happens to be 40. So these are both 40 degrees. All right. So these were worth 1, 1, and 1 for a total of 3 points on that page. So I didn't make them worth too much. The exterior angle theorem says this angle is equal to the sum of these two angles. Right? Put that in our notes. We had some good things in our toolkit on that. So what that means is 25 plus x plus 15 is 3x minus 10. Doesn't that what it says? This plus this equals that. Put it right there. Solve for x by simplifying. 40 plus x is 3x minus 10. Subtract 40 from both sides. And that's plus a negative. That's a negative. So I get x equals 3x plus a negative 50. And then I subtract 3x from both sides. And I get negative 2x. That's 1 minus 2 is negative 2 equals negative 50. X is 25. So x is 25. Okay? So if x is 25, what is e? 25 plus 15 is 40. If x is 25, what's f? 25. If x is 25, well actually, I don't know that's 25 yet, sorry. If x is 25, this is 3 times 25 minus 10, which is 65, so g is 65. And if this is 65, so that's not clear. If this is 65 and these are supplementary, then this has to be 115. I know those angles don't look like they should be that. That's kind of an example of not drawing the scale. Okay, so that was only worth one problem because, again, if you missed up on part of it, you probably missed the whole thing. How about this one right here? If angle 2, find the measure of angle 2 if 1 is 56. So if this is 56, what's angle 2? Well, if this is 56, the corresponding angle is here. And if this is 56, then 2 must be supplementary to that, or 124. If angle 4 is, find 4 if 1 is 34. Well, these are alternate exterior, so it's also 34. right? Easy peasy mac and cheese. Okay, how are 8 and 4 related? Well, 8 and 4 are corresponding. This got some of you guys, it was a reading issue. What is the sum of the measures of 1 and 4? Well, if 4 is 108, then 1 is also 108 because they're vertical. So the sum of 108 plus 108 is 216. If you put 108, you didn't read the question. Question is, what is the sum? However, the practice test said the same thing, so you shouldn't have missed that, unless you really weren't focused and paying attention. Next one, exterior angle theorem says the two angles furthest away from the exterior angle, their sum is equal to that exterior angle. So if I add these two together, it equals that one there. Subtract 72, and x equals 33. So again, that was a pretty easy page, or meant to be an easy page. Pretty straightforward. Okay, next page. A lot of you didn't recognize this is just two parallel lanes cut by a transversal. It's just rotated, rotated 90 degrees counterclockwise. If angle 1 is, some of you, for whatever reason, just struggle on this. If 1 is 68.4 and angle 1 is congruent to angle 4, those are alternate interior, right? Okay. What is the name of the angle relationship? Alternate interior. Okay. These parallel lines are right here. Okay. What is the measure of angle 2? Guys, we've been using this measure of angle 2 on the whole test. The previous page says measure of, you know what that means. How many degrees is 2? Well, it's 68.4. They're vertical. It's vertical to 1. Okay? So they're vertical angles. Okay? How about measure of angle 3 on this one? Well, these are supplementary, right? So that must be 111.6. Because that makes a straight line, right? Those two. Right? Supplementary? Piece of cake, right? Okay, so that one wasn't meant to be challenging. I don't know why some of you struggled with that one. Are these supplementary? Yeah, they make a straight line. So 129 plus what is 180? Would that be 51? Yeah, that wasn't supposed to be this hard. I don't know what happened there. And then I know that the sum of the angles in a quadrilateral are 360. So I know that 118 plus 74 plus 51 plus x is 360 because I know every quadrilateral has a sum of 360. So then I can go ahead and simplify. So this is 192, 246 plus x is 360. Did I do that right? 180, 192 plus 51. Yeah. And so I subtract 246 from both sides, and what do I get? 114. Okay. Same dealio here, except what's the sum of a pentagon? The sum of the angles is 540. So I know that 3x plus 10 plus x plus 112 plus 90 plus 148 equals 540. Simplify. 3x and x is 4x. 10 plus 112 is 122. Plus 90 is 212. Plus 148 is 360? No. Yeah. Is that right? I think that's right.
The answer for x is not 114, it's 142.
Okay, so there was some math error there. So I was hoping that you guys would correct me since I was trying to do it in my head. So what part was wrong? Well, obviously, this isn't 246. What is it? You guys have the calculators. I don't. Use them. Boy, you guys aren't very fast button pushers. Thank you. Okay, and thank you for catching me on that. I want you guys to speak up. Okay? So this is not 115, it's 117. All right. So if anybody wrote down 114, now you know it should be that. Okay. Did I add these right?
Yeah.
Is that right so far? Thank you for that. Okay. So I subtract 360, and I get 180. 4x equals 180. Divide by 4, and I get x equals 45. Is that degrees? No, it's just 45. It's what value of x makes this true. Okay? And then to the bonus, this one was actually a pretty easy bonus. Friends thought it was too easy, but I say, come on, let's just let it roll. So if this adds to be 94, 94 plus x has to be 180, right? Because that's a triangle. So then this has to be 86. Okay, so this is 86. If this is 86 and these are supplementary, that's 94. Z is 94. And then if Z is 94, and this is, what does that say that is? I can't read that real. 11. Okay, I thought so. Okay, so if this is 11 and 94, that's 105. This one must be 75. So really the bonus is pretty simple. If you know that the sum of the angles in a triangle is 180, you know what supplementary angles are. Not a lot. There wasn't a lot of material in this unit. It was just you had to really understand the small chunk that we did.
I didn't hear dreams. That question is really easy.
I know, right? So it makes up for a silly mistake you made along the way.